don't really recommend getting a heat pump water heater. If you take a bath, you're basically toast. You're talking a couple grand electrical work. You can buy 5 of the regular water heaters versus one of these. I'm Brandon Brule. In this video, I'm going to talk about the downsides and why in California I don't really recommend getting a heat pump water heater. I'm going to get straight to it. This water heater in condenser mode, which is why you're buying the water heater to begin with, heat pump only, produces about 6 gallons an hour. In contrast, one of the larger tankless water heaters produces about 220 gallons an hour. So if you take a bath, you're basically toast. Now, here's the thing, you can put it in hybrid mode and have the elements kick on, but then by that point, you're losing almost all efficiency because the per unit kilowatt cost versus the therm cost of a gas water heater is way more expensive. So here's the deal. This thing only makes sense when you run it in heat pump mode only. If you decide that you want to get it and you have a larger family, you're going to be running on the elements way more than you think you are. So here's the problem. You're going to end up costing yourself a lot more money than if you just went with the tank water heater. Now, if you have photovoltaic, solar panels on the roof, now this is for people in California. Midwest people always have something to say. We're a whole nother animal over here. We're completely different. We have different water quality issues, different regulation issues with emissions and all that stuff. So if you get one of these, they're cool. If you're in the Midwest, you're gonna be like, oh, I already have an electric water heater, I can get it. Yeah, that's great for you, but most people here have a gas water heater. So the problem is by the time you run a dedicated 30 amp 2-pole breaker all the way to your water heater, you put your disconnect switch and you do all that, you're talking a couple grand electrical work. Now, this thing is gonna make 6 gallons an hour in its most efficient setting, which is why you're purchasing it versus 220. So essentially, if you buy this thing, you better realize that it doesn't make a lot of hot water. Now, if you can let it sit all damn day and it's the middle of summer and you've got it outside in the sun, it's gonna do great. If you've got it downstairs in the shade in a cold place, there's not enough heat in the atmosphere to transfer into the water, and therefore it'll end up kicking on the elements, and then it's gonna cost you a ton of money to run it in electricity. Again, this is for San Diego, this is not the rest of the United States. So in general, I'm thinking this water heater is about $2,200 without installation, just the product cost. Let's say $1,500 for the electrical run, and then you need to pay us to install it and then all of our parts. So by the time this is all said and done, you're talking 4 or 5 grand minimum, absolute base case minimum. If you need to get more electrical work or we need to reconfigure all your plumbing, which we generally do, now we're talking even more money. Now, one of the downsides is they are noisy. They make a ton of noise. It's an air conditioner, so it'll make the noise that an air conditioner makes, where it makes that hum, which is annoying. So if you have this thing in your garage and it shares a wall with your master, you're probably not gonna love this thing. So for those reasons, you better really, really make sure that you understand how little 6 gallons an hour is. It's basically nothing. This is claiming an 86 gallon recovery rate. So that makes 86 gallons in the first hour for a regular tank water heater and 6 for a heat pump only water heater. It's just not enough hot water, and you're gonna pay for new infrastructure for everything. These things are way bigger. They most likely won't fit, and because they produce such a little amount of hot water per hour, you generally have to crank the heat up and then add a bunch of different valves. It's a shit show, pardon my French, but it's not something you really want to do unless you're a single person or you have a small family or you understand that you're just not going to have a lot of hot water. You're going to need to change all the flow restrictors on your faucets to make sure you don't use too much hot water. But if you're game with all that stuff, they are kind of cool, honestly. We set this up in our shop to test it out. It does work. It runs all freaking night before it's hot again the next day. So if this were in my house, I would probably be pissed. But basically want to let you know what's going on with the water heaters so that you can make an informed decision. In California, I don't really recommend them. Recirculation is a game changer. This is a recirculation pump. For some particular reason, I don't know why, you cannot hook up a recirculation pump to a hybrid water heater. They trick the thermostat and they cause them to come on and off and do strange things. Why that is, I don't know. There's nowhere on the internet you can find that, but if you're a plumber and you've put a recirc pump on a Bradford, you're gonna know you're gonna have mega problems. So that's another downside. Overall, I just don't recommend it. The cost of them, you can buy 5 of the regular water heaters versus one of these. So in my opinion, probably gonna get a tankless for Southern California. They just produce more hot water, and they also don't run when you're not there, whereas this thing is continually running. So if you found this video informative and you do agree with me, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, tell me why you think I'm wrong, whatever you want. Like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. It does take us a lot of time. You're looking at basically a $40,000 fully working demonstration wall so that we can test all our equipment, and we're gonna produce some more videos on the heat pump. But overall, I give this 2 thumbs down. So you tell me what you think in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.